which is an integration associate.
Okay.
Now, what we are going to discuss in this sessions is C4C10 application associate.
Okay, fine.
Now, a developer associate means people who have to work on cloud application studio and do the HTML5 coding.
Okay.
As we all belong to the functional set of consulting, so we will not be involved into any of the coding. Now,
Okay.
as part of this sessions, I also have integration sessions wherein I will explain you completely by showing the system what all configuration has to be done in C4C system for integration, and then I will explain you theoretically what configuration has to be done in HANA Cloud and in ECC or CRM system, and then I'll share one document with you which will speak about the complete integration activities. But I
Okay.
cannot show you integration, live showing you the integration between ECC and C4C or C4C and CRM. That is, I don't have that privilege here.
But you will be having some screenshots, right? How it would be like in the runtime,
Yes,
how it will take.
yes,
Is that
I'll try to show you screenshots. Yes.
screenshots? Pakkana, sir? Pakkana, Mr. Venkat?
Yes, yes, don't worry. Yes.
Fine,
Hi,
fine.
Venkat, we can start the session. We can start the session now.
Okay.
Okay. So we have in conference Chandra, John, Muhammad, Raju, and Ram. Okay. So
Only 5 people are there?
yeah, there are three more guys. They are just, I mean, on the two guys are on the way. It seems they'll be joining in another 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. So as said, can we have a quick round of introduction, please?
Yeah, if John, I am John here.
Yeah,
I am
John.
actually a functional and technical guy in CRM with experience in CS and SD consultant also.
Okay.
So that is my background. But moreover, my strength is in my exposure more into the functional side. Technical side also I have, but
Okay.
I started very lately that. So that is my.
You're currently working for?
I'm working for car technologies.
Oh, okay, okay. Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Next, please.
Hi, Chandra. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi.
Hello, Muhammad. You can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Venkat. This is Muhammad here. I'm also a
Hi.
CPCR functional consultant. I believe I have joined your demo sessions. So I'm working for one of the utility sector companies. So I'm residing in UK.
Okay.
Ram. Ram, can you speak now?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Ram, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Okay, hi, this is Ram. I'm a CRM functional consultant as well. Currently, I'm not working. I'm looking forward for this c4c training.
Ram, your voice is not at all audible, please.
Is it better?
No, very, very, very feeble.
I see. Is it better now?
Yeah, better.
Okay, I'm a CRM. Right, so I'm a SAP CRM consultant, and I'm not working at the moment. I have around 8 years of experience. I'm trying to explore the c4c area to see what opportunities I can have in future.
Okay. You are from?
I'm from UK.
Okay.
Raju, you can go ahead. Ram, please mute yourself now. Click. Yeah, thank you. Raju?
Yeah. Hi, Venkat. Hi, Sana.
Hi.
I am Raju. I have a 2 years of experience into CRM technical side. Uh, now I'm looking for a CRM functional. No, I have already trained with CRM functional, but I'm looking for c4c because it is in a hot in the market. Uh, I want to know, something which is useful for the CRM technical consultant. How a technical consultant can handle c4c projects.
So you're currently working for?
HCL Technologies.
Okay, in Chennai?
No, Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah, Venkat, I think we can start now. Okay. You can please share
Okay.
your screen and we can start the session. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll share the screen another 5-10 minutes. So first we'll have basics of c4c and all. Because there's nothing to show in the system as said. It is only the c4c architecture that that we are going to speak about today. Okay, so first of all, why are we trying to look at c4c? What is the need for this? As we all know, we are working in the SAP main, that too in the CRM domain itself. SAP is planning to stop supporting the CRM server or the CRM application starting 2017. So every customer who's currently into SAP CRM is being requested by SAP to upgrade themselves either to C4C or they have to move to other solutions or other enterprise packages. Now, what is the need for SAP to come up with the so-called what you call C4C is? Today, if you see after Siebel CRM, which has been acquired by Oracle Corporation, Salesforce is the leading CRM package. The people who are using Salesforce can access the application over the mobile, and it's a lightweight application, and there is no concept called a functional consultant and a technical consultant in Salesforce. It is so user friendly that the client end user himself can work as an administrator and configure Salesforce for them, and they would need some technical consultants for enhancements and all. So in line with this Salesforce, SAP had to capture or retain its market stake on CRM, for which for almost 9 years they have done a good amount of study and developed this product called as C4C. So C4C would have cloud for customer, which is into sales, marketing, service, and social media also. This C4C was launched in the market probably 1.5 years back, and SAP is upgrading the capability or the functionality of C4C every three months. That is, every year, February, then May, then August, and then November, 4 times he will keep on releasing new functionalities to the existing C4C system. Now, compared to our conventional CRM system, as we all that we are aware of, we have a typical project scenario. If you look at, then you would have a development system, you would have a quality system, then you have a production system. You do all your configurations and all your enhancements, developments and transports, everything are generated in the development box. That is subsequently the TRs are moved to quality, wherein you do the user acceptance testing, integration testing and all the testing kind of, and then after sign off from the stakeholders, you move all the changes to the production server. So you are maintaining 3 servers, development, quality and production at the client place. Right? So for all these things, the client has to purchase the hardware, the needed software, the needed licensing, the user licensing cost, everything the client has to purchase, right? Now, apart from these things, even the client has to pay a huge amount of money to the implementation partner for maintaining those servers. Client doesn't know anything in SAP, so he'll end up spending money towards the maintenance also. So end of the day, what happens is the client is spending lots of money and he is having a very heavy application. You have a development server, then you have a quality, you have a production, and all those servers are running at, I mean, they need to be completely maintained throughout. There should be no shutdown. They should have enough power backups for all those servers. So all these precautionary measures and all those things will end up to have a big IT room in the client office, and they will be maintaining that through the implementation vendors. To avoid all these things and to ease out the implementation activities for the client, SAP has come up with a new concept in C4C that is called as tenants. Say for example, we go to another apart from our hometown, we move to a new place. Then we go and meet the landlords and we take a house for rent. That's so we are tenants over there. Like that, SAP has developed tenants for every individual customers. Okay. Now, how does this tenant concept work? SAP is maintaining the C4C server throughout the globe in 3 locations. One is in US, one is in Germany, and one is in Australia. The US server caters to all the Europe, I mean the US, North America, South America, Canada, and all that segment, while Germany's server caters to all the European and the Middle East regions, and Australian server caters to all the Asia and the Pacific segments, APAC segments. So these are the 3 servers on which the C4C or the SAP people would be continuously enhancing the functionality every 3 months on these 3 servers. Now say for example we have a client, or rather if I am an end customer and I want to implement C4C for my company. I am based out of India. So when I go to SAP, they can create a tenant for me either in Germany or in the Australian server. So what they're actually doing is they are creating a physical space for me in their server, right? So that is the concept of a tenant. Now in this tenant also there are 2 types of tenants. One is a private tenant and one is a public tenant. Now what is the difference between these 2 things is a public tenant means there are not only me as a customer, there could be few more customers who might be accessing the same space that is allocated to me. And when I say a private tenant, it means that that particular space is designated only for me and no other client would be given that space. Okay. Now every individual tenant is identified by a unique number. Now how does this tenant URL look like is https://my and a 6-digit number. Say for example my307241.crm.ondemand.com. So that 307241 number that is there, that is the tenant ID for my client. Similarly, for every tenant, be it a public or a private tenant, there will be a specific number. Now every time SAP, when they add up the new functionality, when they're trying to release a new package, new functionality to the C4C system, they will deploy this new functionality to all the 3 servers associated across the globe. And every tenant that is on that server would get automatically upgraded with those functionalities. We do not have to do anything about that. Okay. I am just continuing on these things. If anyone has any question, you can please stop me. Okay. So how do we generally do a go like, yeah.
Public and private tenants, can you give the scenarios?
Okay, say for example, there's a client called Bank of America, BOFA, right? So their data is very sensitive. Now what happens is, if I give a public tenant, it doesn't mean that the other person is able to view my data. It is just that the c4c system works with the HANA database concept. So they do not have Oracle database in the background. They have a HANA database sitting on the server itself. Okay, so for all these database tables that are there are associated indexes maintained. That would be the key for retrieving the data from the tables. Now, when there's a public tenant and we are trying to retrieve the data, based on my ID, the data will be retrieved. But similarly, for other client who's also using the same public tenant, he would have an associated ID, and based on his ID only his data would be retrieved. So there is a data segregation clearly available, but still there might be a possibility for a data leakage. Now for sensitive clients like Bank of America or something, any banking customer who would not prefer this, then for them SAP, the client has to pay more money to SAP so that SAP doesn't share the same space with other clients. If you can put it in other words, say for example, 3 people have to share one room, then the amount of rent that those 3 people have to individually bear is less. But if one person says, I want complete privacy and I want a separate room altogether for myself, then he has to pay the rent of the total 3 people as an individual. It's the same concept of a public tenant and a private tenant.
It's just sharing the data, or it's sharing the application as well?
It is sharing the space. Please remember, it's not sharing the data. It is sharing the space.
Okay.
Because when you are taking the license, the user license for c4c, you do not say to SAP that my user is going to occupy a 2 terabyte of data. You would just say, I need a user access. Now for your tenant, based on the records of data that is getting increased, SAP would keep on increasing the space or decreasing the space both as well. So for this effective space management, apart from you, there may be few more clients on the same server or the same tenant. But if you want altogether a separate private tenant, then that space would be specifically designated for you, and even though there's enough space left out which you are not using, SAP would not give to anybody else because you have paid the cost for it.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, as I said, in a typical ERP implementation, we have the go live. How do we do a go live is, we do all the activities in development box, move to quality, and then to production. Such kind of things are not there in c4c. C4C, when the client has taken the license from SAP, they would create the test tenant for the particular client. That is called a test tenant. Now, as an implementation partner, you have to do all your configurations on that test tenant only. There is nothing called as a transport request. Okay, so everything that you have to do, you will do in one single system or tenant called as test tenant. Then even your client would be using the same test tenant to perform all the different kinds of testing scenarios, be it unit testing or user acceptance testing or integration testing, anything under this earth. If the client wants to test, he would also use the same test tenant. Once the client is fully satisfied with the development or with the configuration that has been done, once the implementation partner, that is you and the client, come to a common understanding that yes, my requirements have been fulfilled, then from the test tenant itself, you initiate a request to SAP asking them to create a production tenant. So all the integration, all those things, whatever you have done in testing tenant, in terms of configuration, in terms of master data loading, everything, the same Xerox copy, another tenant would get created, and that would be the active production tenant. Only difference is when you are asking SAP to create a production tenant from the existing test tenant, the complete configuration would get copied, but the data would not get copied. Say for example, in test tenant, for the sake of testing, you might have downloaded some 50 dummy business partners, some 10 employees, and you have created some positions and all. These data will not go to production system. The configuration, the development activities, whatever you have done in a test tenant, all that will go to production tenant. From there on, then you have to again set up the integration of that production tenant to the ECC or CRM production server and download the master data, like how you do in a typical ECC on-premise implementation. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute, I'll be back. Yeah, I'm back, sorry. Okay, so now if you see the conventional ECC or CRM go live activities, what do we do? What methodology do we follow? Is we follow the ASAP methodology, right? Business blueprinting. First is requirement gathering, then business blueprinting, then realization, then testing, then cutover and go live activities, preparation, and then finally go live. In C4C, we do not go through the standard ASAP methodology. We have another concept called launch methodology that we will go through in the C4C implementations. I'll just show you one screen, just a second. Are you all able to see my screen?
No.
No. No. No.
I'm currently sharing it.
I can now.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. So if you see, this is the typical launch methodology that we follow for a C4C implementation. You have 4 phases: prepare, realize, verify, and launch. Now, what all activities you have to do in these things, we'll speak in detail. We'll speak one by one, we'll cover through everything, and then we'll finally understand what is this launch methodology. But take a case, say for example, you have doing an implementation for a client wherein from C4C, I mean you are doing a C4C implementation and also an ECC implementation. So for C4C, you have this launch methodology that you are currently seeing in screen. And for ECC, you have the typical ASAP methodology. So you have to merge these two methodologies to follow one standard methodology for the implementation. Obviously, if you tell the client that for C4C we use a different methodology and for ECC we use a different methodology, the client is not going to accept it. So SAP has come up with such kind of implementations. They have a new methodology called as hybrid methodology. So what is this hybrid methodology is? It is a joint ideas of ASAP and launch put together. After this session, I will share one PPT to all of you. I mean, I'll share it with Sana, who from this institute, and she will send it to all of you people. I have a very good PowerPoint presentation on that particular hybrid methodology. Since you all are already aware of what is ASAP, and since I am going to tell you now what is this launch methodology, putting these two ideas together, if you try to go through that PowerPoint presentation, it will be very useful for you people. Only thing is, whomsoever is attending the session, my request is I'd be sharing some good material which either we have prepared with the implementation experience that we have got on C4C or from the SAPs that we have procured this material. Please do not share with anyone else. Whatever information of the presentations you are getting from me, please keep it for yourself. Okay, right. So now as you see, this launch methodology has 4 phases. First is prepare, realize, verify, and launch. Now in every phase, if you see there is a tick mark. For example, in the prepare, you have a scope verification tick mark. In realize, you have solution acceptance tick mark. Now what are these tick marks is, they are the Q gates or the quality gates. Okay, now SAP has defined certain activities to be performed during prepare phase, during realize, verify, and launch. In all of these phases, there is one activity which is a Q gate activity or a quality gate activity. Only when you complete that particular activity, that phase is considered as over. If you have not completed that Q gate activity, that phase is not over. Okay. Now, in a typical on-premise implementation, we sit with the client, we do the business workshop, we understand the requirements, we note it down through an Excel sheet, and we put it what is standard, what is customizing, what is the configuration, all those things, and based on that, we come up with something called as a business blueprint document, BBP, right? Now, in C4C, you do not have any documentation at all. You do not have business blueprint document, you do not have functional specs, technical specs, or any testing manuals or user acceptance testing documents and all. There is no documentation involved in C4C. Everything is in the system itself. Okay, so what you do as part of the project implementation is, you first sit to the client and do the project preparation activities. That is, you go to the client, you decide how many people have to work on this, and will their experts be available to tell the business, are we ready to take those business requirements. So it is a project preparation, and once that is done, you have the business process confirmation. Now how do you do this business process confirmation is, you have something called as scoping. Now in C4C, every requirement you have to add it to the tenant using scoping concept. I'll tell you scoping on the 3rd session, that is on Monday, next Saturday. Let me check the schedule, 1 second. Oh yeah, scoping is there tomorrow itself. Okay, so we'll speak in detail about the scoping further. So what you do in this prepare activities is you sit with the client and you understand what are the complete business process that the client is looking for in C4C. So you make your C4C system ready to have all those processes. That is where you do the prepare phase. Now, after you identified what all processes have to be configured, then in the realize phase, you start the solution configuration. If you see in the realize phase, the very first part is solution configuration. So what do you mean by solution configuration is, say for example, defining number ranges for the transactions, defining number ranges for the customers, or defining product number ranges, defining org structure, territory. All these things are the part of the solution configuration. So you do a solution configuration and then you do a cloud integration. So you do the integration activities between C4C to either ECC or CRM system. Now the client has to decide whether this integration has to be done through PIPO or through HCI, HANA Cloud Integration. I'll tell you the differences between PIPO and HCI also after this launch methodology. Okay, and then you do this integration. After that, then you have something called as a solution walkthrough. There is a slight difference between a solution walkthrough and your solution testing, which is there as part of verify. I'll tell you what are those two. Now, solution walkthrough is you will show the client at a high level that all the processes that the client had asked for, say for example, leads, opportunities, campaigns, or quotations or sales orders, all those processes at a high level, whatever client has asked, are available in C4C and are configured as per his requirement. So you just show him a high level process view. That is a solution walkthrough. So you do these set of activities in your realize phase. If you have to map your realize phase to the ASAP methodology, it is a realization phase. But the difference is you do not have any documentation here. You do not have a business blueprint and all those things you do not have here. Okay? And then the third phase is the verify phase. Now the verify phase, the first step that you have to do is you have to enable the end users. Now when I say enable, you have to train the end users to do a testing on this application. If you do not train your core users or the business process owners or the end users, who is going to test the application? It is they only, right? So the first step is you have to train those end users, and then for the application to be tested, the application needs some data. So you download some 5% or 10% of master data, products, territories, org structure, employees, business partners, all these things, 5 to 10% you download from ECC to ECC or CRM to the C4C system, and then you ask your client to do a complete solution testing. Now when he's going to test in this scenario, it is going to cover the user acceptance testing and the integration testing also. Once that testing has been done, then you do something called as cutover planning. So you discuss with your client as to by which date would the SAP be ready with your production tenant, how do you plan to upload the master data into the production tenant. So all those cutover activities you plan, and then you initiate a request from your test tenant to SAP to give them a production tenant. Once these activities are completed, the third queue gate is the readiness acceptance queue gate. Okay, so that is where you do a readiness acceptance. In our ASAP methodology, it is preparation and cutover activities phase is in sync with this phase. And then finally you have the launch. Launch means the go live, that is the final handover of the application and cutover execution. So this are the different stages or the different activities that you have to perform as a functional consultant while working on C4C using the launch methodology. Is this methodology clear to you? Anyone has any questions? I hope my voice is reaching to everybody and I'm not fast, I hope.
No,
I
that's
hope I'm
okay.
clear.
That is good, yeah.
Okay. Now, as we said, the client has options to choose either PIPO, process integration, process orchestration, or the HANA Cloud integration as the middleware. Now, what are the differences between these two? Right? Okay. First thing, PIPO would be a server that the client has to purchase and keep it in his premises. So the associated hardware, the hardware sizing, the software, the end user licenses, and the application maintenance, that is the server maintenance, is the responsibility of the client. Since he cannot maintain all this on his own, he is going to shell enough money to the implementation partner or the vendor for maintenance of that PIPO. When you speak of HANA Cloud integration, it is also a cloud solution that is maintained by SAP. So you do not have any additional hardware, you do not have any additional software or space or application maintenance cost. Nothing is there with the client. It is with the SAP that they would maintain all this. Similar to the c4c servers spread in 3 locations in the globe, even the HCI servers are located in the same 3 locations: US, Australia and Germany. Okay, in these 3 locations the SAP server, the HANA Cloud integration server is configured, and same like the c4c, HCI also works on the concept of tenants. So SAP, if the client says to SAP that I would like to do the integration using HANA Cloud Platform, then SAP would give you the HCI tenant, again a test tenant. After the successful testing everything, then you initiate a request for production tenant in HCI also.
Venkat, you're saying that there are two servers now. You're talking about one is about the HCI server, which is the HANA Cloud, okay?
Yes.
Another one is the general, I mean, is a cloud server, which is SAP. I mean, there's two. There is a two servers integration, right?
Yes.
Okay, am I correct?
See, HCI is one server, C4C is one server. There are two different servers.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. HANA is basically HCI is for more database oriented.
It is not database oriented, but it is more integration oriented.
Okay.
Your HCI would act as a middleware for exchange of data from C4C to the on-premise system.
Okay.
See, when we are going with an implementation of C4C integration to either ECC or CRM, okay, typically this on-premise server would be in the client network. Because of security, there would be a very strict firewall or a network, and being C4C in the cloud platform, you cannot integrate that to the ECC directly.
Yeah, everything is in the middle. Again, go back to there, and then integration will be done.
No, no, no. I'll tell you. I'm coming to that now. Let's assume a case that I am a customer. I want C4C to be implemented and also ECC or CRM to be implemented. Okay. Because I do not have any serious or very confidential data, I have not put my network into any firewall or proxy. My network is an open network. In that case, my C4C system can be integrated to this on-premise ECC or CRM using the HANA Cloud integration very straightforward, simply, easily it can be done. But
Okay.
if
Yeah.
my server, that is CRM or ECC, is in a client network, say my data is confidential and I don't want public to just come and breach my server, so I set up a proxy or a VPN or something like firewall for my network.
Okay.
Okay, in that
Yeah.
case my c4c and HCI are in the cloud platform, they are in the open platform. Now for the HCI to connect to my ECC or CRM system is not possible. Always the integration between C4C and HCI is very simple, because both of the servers are in the cloud, they are maintained by SAP, and the integration setup can be done in half an hour. The
Okay.
challenge comes in setting up the integration between this HANA Cloud integration and the client's ECC or CRM server. So when there is a firewall or a VPN or something like that, we use a concept called as web dispatcher.
Okay. Yeah.
We will speak about all these integration techniques and scenarios in detail on those integration topic day.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
For now, just to understand, for you to give a clarity, I'll tell you the data flows from C4C to HCI and then from HCI to on-premise. Similarly, in reverse direction, from on-premise to HCI and then from HCI to C4C.
Okay.
Data does not flow from C4C to on-premise directly. It does not go like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Venkat,
Yes?
Venkat, uh, what? Who is going to decide like whether we are going to use HCI or PIPO?
It is purely at the discretion of the client.
So are we not going to suggest them that you're going to use HANA Cloud or
That is,
you're going to use PIPO?
that is where the functional consultant consulting skills would come into picture. You have to convince the client saying that if you want an integration, you should recommend him to go with HANA Cloud. The reasons behind this: HANA Cloud maintenance is with SAP, so the client would not have the burden of maintenance cost. Second thing, the HANA Cloud server is with SAP, so the client does not have to purchase the hardware, the software, the sizing and all those things. And third thing, using HANA Cloud integration is very easy. Now, apart from
Should we
these
have
things,
a knowledge in HANA Cloud for suggesting to the client?
you do not need to have the knowledge of HANA Cloud. If the client agrees for HANA Cloud as an integration, you as an implementation partner, you have to bring in a HANA Cloud integration expert to work along with you.
Without HANA, we can't run it.
Okay.
We just, anyway, this we'll discuss in the integration topic, but just for the, I don't want to drag out this discussion, but only one
Please tell me.
quick question is that whether we can't run without HANA.
Without, you mean say without integration C4C standalone?
Yeah.
You can do that.
But why we want, I mean, that's one thing. Again, your costs, I mean, anyway, it's, if you go for HCI.
See, I'll give you a scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
You are implementing C4C standalone for a particular client.
Okay.
You have created a lead, opportunity, a quotation, and based on a quotation, you created an order also.
Okay.
Now, what will you do with this order? Before you place an order, your system should tell you whether the availability checks are done or not, right?
Okay.
The A to B check should be done. Second thing, the schedule lines for delivery should be identified. And after sales order is created, you should be able to generate a delivery note and an invoice for that sales order.
Okay.
Now, C4C does not have the functionality of invoicing or delivery note. CRM itself do not have that functionality, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Got it. You're,
So
okay.
what would be the use of C4C standalone when, if consider you as an end customer, would you use C4C with that kind of a standalone application?
I mean, there are two things. One is if you're really talking, I mean, there is a discussion point always, because if you're looking at the other is like what are the things? Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce does the same thing whatever C4C does. Okay, it doesn't do any kind of ordering and anything. Okay, it starts with the leads and calls. I mean, up to even though you don't do quotation, you do opportunity, then hand over to the external system. Okay, that's where Salesforce stands. I mean, they are now coming with the different mashups, coming with saying that okay, ordering can be done now. I mean, you can do the ordering and those things, but
Correct.
still ATP checks and those things are not there. Okay, so
Yes.
Salesforce target is completely different. Okay, and the cloud C4C is more or less a Salesforce, right? But add-on, you're talking about if we add HCI, I mean like a HANA cloud, then you really like end-to-end solution you can provide. That's what your justification.
Exactly.
Then got it.
Without integration,
Yeah.
you cannot give the client an end-to-end CRM solution.
No, got your point. Got your point. I mean, because if I mean, I don't know others have got the knowledge of the Salesforce, but Salesforce does the same thing. I mean, Shravan knows about it, and we did in the Salesforce certification also. So that's why we know that Salesforce does the same thing like C4C. It doesn't do any ordering. I mean, ordering is there, but it's not like a really CRM. What CRM or ECC does. Okay. Now I got a clue. Like it's what you SCA is saying. SCA more based in, I mean, integration with the SAP systems. More.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what. Got it. Got the point. Yeah. 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 I'm clear there. Yeah.
Okay. So far today, what we have
Current
spoke is
to your experience, like previously what you have done, Venkat, what is the integration you're using, HANA Cloud or PIPO?
my first project of C4C was using PIPO, and then the rest two projects we have done using HANA Cloud.
What is PIPO, Venkat?
PIPO is process integration or process orchestration.
PI you're talking about.
No, not BI.
Yeah.
XI, Exchange Interface.
The PI process. The same thing we're calling SI. They're calling PI. I mean.
Yeah, XI is now enhanced to PI.
PI. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that PI is now being renamed as PI or PO. PI/PO.
Okay. So you are using earlier only the PI integration. That XI.
I used my first C4C implementation. I used PIPO, and then subsequently next two projects I have been working on HCI.
Okay. Okay. But the both systems you're integrating with the SAP. I mean, traditional SAP systems in the back.
Yeah, we integrate with the ECC system, standard ECC system.
Standard SAP system. Yeah, that's fine.
So what we have seen today is about the C4C architecture, the fundamentals of C4C, and the most importantly, the launch methodology. Now by tomorrow, I'll share one PowerPoint presentation with Sana, who's from this institute, and she would forward that PowerPoint presentation to all of you, which is nothing else but a merging of launch methodology and ASAP methodology that comes out as a hybrid methodology. You all are aware of ASAP. I have explained you what is launch. So just putting these two things, these two methodologies together, SAP has come out with the hybrid methodology. We have a very good PowerPoint presentation on that. I'll share that with you all. You can please go through. As again requested in the initial time, please do not share these material with anyone else. Remember, you are paying some cost to get this material, so please don't share it with anyone.
Okay.
Venkat, is it possible to share today so that we can come down with some questions tomorrow?
I'll share that in the morning tomorrow because that presentation is there in the official laptop. I need to transfer to my personal laptop and share it.
What other material you provide? Venkat,
I'm not sure. There's lots of echo noise coming. Anyway. So I'll be providing the latest administration guide, the integration guide, the user guide, and the initial data download.
Are they same like in SAP portal available? Are they same?
Now, if you look at the SAP portal, you do not have these documents as PDF. You just have links you have to read online in the site. But I'll be sharing the PDF.
Your voice is echoing, Venkat.
Yeah, I know. I'm just tapping also.
Venkat, may I ask you last question? Very important for me.
Please tell me.
Yeah, I want to restrict myself to my management. Like as you said, I don't want to share the content whatever you're going to share. But how should I restrict myself to my solution architect level people? I mean to say they shouldn't come at me from the starting initial stage of giving quotation to the company by knowing the solution architect this is and all, because they will know everything. They will fetch knowledge from me, but ultimately they may place another guy, as you know, in the project. But I want to have so what I should tell to them.
I couldn't get a question. Please be more specific.
Yeah, like for example, what should I at the end of the course, like if I want to express myself as a C4 consultant, what should I tell them to have the specific knowledge where they should take me from the implementation part only. They should not involve me from the solution architect level. That's what I expect. What should I tell them so that they can start pick me from the implementation level? What should I tell them?
You do not want to go at a solution, but you want to go as a configuration.
Yes, because as you know, they will try to ask me more documentation, like what are the contents you have, anything like previous.
Anytime tell that I do not have a huge exposure or wide exposure to c4c and its capability, but I have a good configuration knowledge of c4c. So I would be better as a configurator rather than a solution.
Because so that's why. So in that way, they shouldn't ask me some content. Those and
because
an
architect, you should have an understanding of the capabilities.
Okay.
You tell them that I do not see entire capability. I have a limited knowledge.
But here in this training course, you are going to pour us the end-to-end solution, right?
I am going to show the end-to-end solution, whatever is there in C4C as of November 2015.
Okay, and after this, can we start even practicing like simultaneously, or you're going to give us access after once completing your training?
No. I am going to give the access in the beginning itself, and you can practice. But I would be giving access as a sales representative.
Okay.
Not as an administrator.
Thanks. And lastly, if I want to get a training on technical side also, do you train us or do you have any other?
No, I am not a technical consultant. See, if you have to learn technical part of the course, you need to have a knowledge on HTML coding.
Okay.
Because that can be done on HTML5 code.
Okay, fine, that will be done. But if you have anyone who can train us on HTML, please, not HTML, then I will take that part, HTML. I will get trained myself, no issue. But regarding the technical training,
I'll arrange one person.
Yeah, please, after this training also, I may contact the institute people and you also, please.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Please, thanks.
If anyone has any more questions, or we can start looking to C4C application from tomorrow.
Hi Venkat, I have a question.
Yeah, please tell me.
First of all, you said you'll give us access to the system as sales rep. With the sales rep profile, can we configure and do some like play around with the configuration?
Yes, you can play around.
Okay. Thanks. And I have one more question with regards to this PIPO versus HCI.
Okay.
I understand that there are like hardwares and cost implications and those kind of advantages for HCI over PIPO,
Right.
and also the setup. But what are the fundamental difference between HCI and PIPO, apart from this cost implications and advantages to the client? For
The difference between HCI and PIPO is same like CRM and C4C. HCI
okay,
is on cloud solution, PIPO is an on-premise system.
right. And for PIPO, they would need a specialty in on-premise like SAP CRM
There
to
is a
maintain it.
database for PIPO, which is again the SAP database called as Oracle, whereas for HCI, it uses the HANA database. So the performance-wise, it is much faster. And
Mhm.
configuring the iFlows. iFlow means information document flow. Configuring iFlows in HANA Cloud is very much easier than PIPO.
Right. And this HCI only communicates through from C4C to your on-premise CRM or ECC systems.
Yeah, the middleware HCI or PIPO should be there if you want to integrate.
And if there is an external system, for example, some sort of like
Yeah, the HANA Cloud has enough adapters wherein adapters or plugins wherein your C4C can connect to external non-SAP applications as well.
okay. And again, mapping can be done for those in HCI
Yes,
itself.
you have to do the mapping in HCI and you have the data coming into.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
So non-SAP systems both bidirectional, Venkat?
Yeah, it's bidirectional. Yes, yes.
And we will be covering.
If you are going to integrate the CRM, and so still we are going to use HCI.
Sorry, please come again. I couldn't get your question.
If we want to integrate with ECC and then with CRM, is this
Okay.
like we need to follow any landscape of something in
You
that,
mean to
or
say you want to
how?
integrate, no, you want to integrate C4C to both CRM and to ECC?
Yes.
It's possible. You can do that.
Still, and the same technology can be used there.
Yes, yes. Only thing is in C4C you have a test tenant only. You do not have development tenant. So you have to connect your C4C to ECC testing the quality environment, and in CRM also the quality system only.
Venkat, other saying is saying mapping. You're talking about PI mapping and HCI mapping. What is the mapping you're saying that? Earlier, and for earlier
Okay.
question, you said we need to
Say
map
for
it.
example, there is a customer in ECC which you have to download to C4C.
Yeah.
In that
Okay.
case, you have to, how do we do in ECC and CRM? We do PIDE settings,
Middleware.
right, in ECC?
Yeah. Yeah. By
Similarly,
setting a
there is
middleware.
a
Yeah.
mapping that you have to do in C4C also.
Okay.
That mapping is called as code list mapping.
Okay.
So
Code
for
list. Oh, the code
downloading,
list. Excel sheet. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the
Got it.
code
Got it.
list.
I got it.
For downloading
Okay.
any master data, you need to do code
Yeah.
list mapping.
Okay. Yeah. Code list is there. Yeah. I got it. So that will be done in the C4C, right?
Yes.
Where we do that
Yes.
with this one? C4C.
We do that in C4C system.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So if there are no
Yeah.
other
Okay.
questions, shall we continue tomorrow on the application part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's fine.
Sana, you are there? I think Sana is not there on the call. So anyways, we'll close this call now and we'll connect back tomorrow at 10 o'clock India time.
Okay.
10 p.m. right?
Sorry? Sorry?
It is 10 p.m. right?
At 10 p.m. India time, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And going forward, it will be at the same time?
It will be the same time, 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the night.
All right.
Hi. Hi, Venkat.
Yes, Sana. So we are done for today, Sana.
Yeah, Venkat. Okay, thank you so much. I'll just
Sure.
update you tomorrow morning, Venkat, with all the details, okay?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Please call me tomorrow morning once.
Yes, yes, I'll call you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.